Kasturi tilakam lalat patale vakshasthale kastubam nasagre varmaktikam kartale venu kare kankanam sarvange harichandanam sulalitam Kante cha muktavali gopastri parivestito vijayate gopal chudamani vasudeva sutam devam kansa chanuramardanam devaki paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Para Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, we are doing the 8th canto. The 8th canto, we have learnt about the power. Manvantars, first chapter, second chapter, how the crocodile Grah, the crocodile who was Gandharva Huhu in the past, and because of the curse, he has been cursed to become a crocodile. And there is the battle between the crocodile and the elephant who was King Indradyumna in the past. He was cursed by Agastya Rishi. Huhu was cursed by Deval Rishi, and they are battling it out. And the battle went for thousands of years. And when the elephant was about to give up, he remembered the Lord whom he used to worship and sing hymns for, and he remembered him, and in no time the Lord appeared. He took a lotus from the sarovar and offered to the Lord, and the Lord accepted it, and he saved him from the crocodile by severing the head of the crocodile with his Sudarshan Chakra. So that amazing episode, which is supposed to be one of the most prominent episodes for our welfare, and recitation and remembrance of that is a great way to achieve our goals, is the story all about. Then in the 6th chapter, we read about the Samudra Manthan. We started to learn about the Samudra Manthan, which is the churning of the ocean, how the Devatas and the Daityas, they have conspired to do the churning of the ocean, because the Devatas had become weakened because of the curse by Durvasha Rishi, and the Daityas have overpowered them, and to mitigate that, this Leela is being enacted on the advice of the Lord. So the ocean will be churned, and all these objects will appear, and also there will be the nectar and the poison, they will appear. So what happens to the poison? We all know Lord Shiv, he consumed the poison, and it was stopped in his neck because it is so poisonous, and it made his neck blue. That is why he is called Nilkant. And then the Samudra Manthan story continued. We learnt about the appearance of the Amrit in the Kalash, in the pot held by the Ayurveda proponent Dhanvantri ji, who is also an avatar of the Lord. And then how there was a mad rush to acquire the nectar, the Amrit, and to resolve the matter. The third avatar took place in this episode, and that is the Mohini avatar. So Mohini came in the most beautiful woman, enchanting everyone. And when the Daityas and the Suras, they saw her, they were completely enchanted, and the Daityas, you know, converse with her. And that's the story we read, how she managed to take the Amrit pitcher from them and distribute it to the Devatas. But one of the Danavas named Rahu, he had consumed the nectar, and how he was slain. And then Rahu and Ketu, the head and the body, they became stars, called Rahu and Ketu, planets Rahu, or you can say celestial objects, Rahu and Ketu. So that was chapter number 9. Let us see the next. So today we are doing uh, correct the chapter after Samudra Manthan. But before we begin, let us sing this bhajan in the glorifications of Radha Rani. Radhe Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Thakurani Prem Sukhadani ki jai. So just give me 2 seconds. I'll get my manjira. राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय. 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 ठाकुरानी प्रेम सुखदानी की जय. ठाकुरानी प्रेम सुखदानी की जय. राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय. राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय. श्यामा प्यारी की जय, नथवारी की जय. श्यामा प्यारी की जय, नथवारी की जय. बोलो भानु दुलारी की जय जय 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 जय. राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय. श्यामा प्यारे, श्याम प्यारे की जय. बंसी वारे की जय. श्याम प्यारे की जय. बंसी वारे की जय. बोलो पीत पटवारे की जय जय 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 जय. राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय. प्राण प्यारी की जय, प्राण प्यारी की जय. प्राण प्यारे की जय, प्राण प्यारी की जय. प्राण प्यारे की जय, प्राण प्यारी की जय, प्राण प्यारे की जय, प्राण प्यारी की जय, मेरे प्यारे की जय, मेरी प्यारी की जय, मेरे प्यारे की जय, मेरी प्यारी की जय, मेरे प्यारे की जय, मेरी प्यारी की जय, मेरे प्यारे जय, मेरी प्यारे की जय, बोलो पीत पटवारे की जय, जय जय राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय। दो चिन्मय दिव्य तनुधारी की जय, मेरे प्यारे की जय, मेरी प्यारी की जय, दो चिन्मय दिव्य तनुधारी की जय, दो चिन्मय दिव्य तनुधारी की जय, तनु गोरी की जय, रस बोरी की जय, तनु गोरी की जय, रस बोरी की जय, चितवन ही पिया चित चोरी 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 की जय, राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय। पिया प्यारी की जय, सुकुमारी की जय, पिया प्यारी की जय, सुकुमारी की जय, एक चंचल एक भोरी भारी की जय, एक चंचल एक भोरी भारी की जय, एक चंचल एक भोरी बारी की जय, एक चंचल एक भोरी बारी की जय, एक चंचल एक चंचल एक भोरी भारी की जय, राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय, राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय, राधे रानी की जय, महारानी की जय। बोलिए श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय, श्रीमद युगल सरकार की जय, जय जय श्री राधे,
राधे
जय जय
जय
श्री
श्री
राधे,
राधे
जय जय
जय जय
श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे
Our koti koti pranam to the lotus feet of Sri Hari and Sri Guru. Our koti koti pranam to Swami Mukundananji. My humble pranam to each one of you. And now we shall read from the Canto 8, wherein we are reading the end of the about the end of the fierce battle between the Devatas and the Danavas, the demoniac and the celestial gods. How the fierce war ends is the chapter for today. Let's read them on. Fully rejuvenated with Sri Hari's grace and glance, the Devatas, led by Indradev, now struck each one of the Asuras with full might. Indradev, taking his Vajra, proceeded to attack Bali and chastised Bali, saying, "You fool, trying to conjure various tricks, blinded and usurping our opulences, will today be pushed back to Netherworld, where you originally come from. Herewith, chop your head, and you may try all your tricks to save yourself." So these are the very harsh words from Indradev, who is now fighting back with Bali, who has become the master of the Devalok. To this, King Bali countered, "Due to actions performed as per destiny, one gets fame, victory, defeat, and death. The wise, knowing this, do not grieve or exult with results which you seem to be ignorant of. So we do not react to your words and pity you that you consider yourself responsible for getting fame and defeat. and struck Indra with a volley of arrows. Stung by his words, Indra struck Bali with his Vajra, dropping Bali dead. Seeing this, demon Jambasu riding a lion then struck Indran Airavat with his mace. Airavat fell down in a swoon. Seeing his master Indra defenseless, his Sarthik Matali came to Indra's rescue, riding a chariot with 1,000 horses. Admiring Matali's devotion to his master, Jambasura struck Matali with a shining trishul, who bore the pain happily. Furious Indra struck Jambasur with his vajra, splicing his head. Narad Muni conveyed the news of Jambasur's death to his family. Hearing this, Jambasur's brothers Namuchi, Bal, Pak came to fight. The trio attacked Indra with spiteful words, speech, and arrows. Baal shot 1,000 arrows, killing all the horses. Pak amazingly shot 100 arrows each towards Matli and the chariot, splitting them into 100 parts each. Namuchi shot giant 15 arrows towards Indra and then poured rainwater over the battlefield like a cloud burst. Indradev and Devatas were completely invisible in this rain of water and arrows. So the war is being described in such great detail that how this demon Jambasur, who could ride a lion, struck Indra and Airavat, and how Matali came down to rescue, with a chariot which had 1,000 horses. So let's read the next slide to understand how this war is progressing. Not seeing the Dev warriors, the other Devatas panicked, thinking not only were they defeated, but also their leaders were slain. However, after some time, Indra emerged in sight just like sunrise. Indra then slayed Baal and Pak with his Vajra. The furious Namuchi now attacked Indra with a gold shining pointed bell Trishul, roaring on with his lion. Indra shattered the Trishul and arrows in space itself and next threw the Vajra at Namuchi to slay him. To Indra's surprise, the Vajra which had cut the gigantic Vitrasur could not even scratch puny Namuchi. This got Indra worried, who had earlier cut the wings of the flying mountains when they used to fly anywhere as per their whims and fancies, with the same Vajra. Then a divine voice told Indra, as per a boon, Namuchi cannot be killed by any dry or wet weapon. So Indra think of an alternative. After hearing this, Indradev deeply concentrated of the solution. He finally decided the water foam as a solution and used as a weapon to successfully slay Namuchi. All the sages and devatas then rejoiced along with Apsaras dancing, the Gandharvas showering praises and flowers on Indra, Vayudev, Agnidev, Varundev also slayed their opponents. Seeing the Asuras losing and dwindling in numbers, Brahmadev sent Naradji to broker peace. Narad said, O Devatas, the Lord with his grace and protection has already given you the nectar. Even Mata Lakshmi has restored your opulences and propensities. So seize this fight now. Respecting Narad Muni's wishes, the Devatas the Devatas returned back to their abodes. Meanwhile, the remaining Asuras, after taking due permission from Naraji, carried Bali's body back to their abode. With all those whose full body were intact, Shukracharya then resurrected Bali with others back to life with Sanjivni Vidya. After regaining all his senses, the wise Bali calmly accepted his defeat as destiny. So, very famous story how Bali, who had so much of name and fame about his charity, is going to be defeated, is the story. And now let us see the next.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like If anybody wants
Yeah,
to
if anyone else
read,
wants to read, please raise your
I
hands.
think Sheila Didi wanted to
Yeah.
read.
Hold on. Not having heard about the success of Sagar Manthan with his nectar and the Mohini avatar, Lord Shiv and Devi Parvati, along with their retinue, proceeded to meet Sri Hari in Vaikunt. They were most graciously welcomed by Sri Hari. Lord Shiv first offered his obeisances and chanted the glories and virtues of Sri Hari in multiple verses, as being causelessly causeful. Lord Shiv also admits that he and Brahma, along with Brahma's mind-born sages, though all being full of sattva, even then their understanding of the Lord is completely obscured by the Lord's Maya. He also extols the Lord's various manifestations, dominated by three gunas for conducting so many leelas, which he, Shiv, has always seen, witnessed. He then expresses his desire and curiosity to have the glimpse of the Mohini avatar. Sri Hari gave a knowing smile and said that he had taken the Mohini avatar only because of under the circumstances. Only a female could have distracted the asurs from the nectar. He then obliged Lord Shiva's wish, and the very most next moment the Mohini avatar was manifested for all to see. They all saw the very beautiful, captivating Mohini form playing with a bowl in the garden. With her glance, Lord Shiv got so infatuated with Mohini that he started following Mohini, bewitching him, playing with the bowl, seducing Lord Shiv with her charm. He seemed to have lost control over his senses. As the bowl slipped, Mohini went after it, with Lord Shiv following her. Lord Shiv then embraced the unwilling Mohini. She then escaped from his embrace and ran away. With the love, the desire struck Lord Shiv following her. She roamed all over the place with Shiv following her, also in the regions where the sages performed severe austerities. This could be inferred that Sri Hari as Mohini wants to show the sages how a practiced yogi like Shankar, who was always in control of his senses, could also lose his control resistance very easily with the Lord's Maya. Later, Lord Shiv calmed down and realized that he had acted coming under the Lord's Maya and detached himself. He immediately realized that it was the Lord's Maya which had snared him, and again it was the Lord's grace that he could snap out of it. Thus, seeing him supremely calm and in full control, Sri Hari told him, "I'm glad to see you completely unruffled and unperturbed after coming out of the influence of my easily deluding Maya. No other male can overcome this infatuation without having his mind in control. This Maya of mine, consisting of the three gunas, which comes back to me during dissolution, will, however, no more overpower you, O Shankar." So saying, Sri Hari embraced Lord Shiv. Lovely story. Shall I
Anyone
continue?
else?
If
Yeah, yeah,
anybody,
you can, but let's just check if anyone
Sure,
else
sure,
would
sure.
like to read. Yeah,
I can
yeah,
read.
Sure, beta.
okay.
Then Lord Shiva with Devi Uma and their retinue returned back to Mount Kailasa. He told her, Did you now observe the deluding potency of Lord's Maya, for which I, his foremost creation, I fell very easily. It's not surprising then for the uncontrolled to get bewildered by the Lord's Maya. He's the very supreme, about whom you had inquired when I came out of my deep meditation of 1,000 celestial years. He is the supreme one who cannot be bound by the time nor can be understood by Vedas. Sukhdev Ji concludes that anyone who recites, listens to his glorious Kurma avatar of the Lord's as a giant tortoise carrying Mount Mandara on his back will never have his efforts go in vain. Sukhdev Ji then offers his prayers to the Supreme Lord who, as Mohini deluded the Daityas, gave nectar to the Devatas who had sought his protection and is attainable with devotion alone. Radhe Radhe.
I think
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
the end of our slide. We have takeaways.
Okay. Right. So this was the famous episode concerning Mohini. So as we can see in the battle between the Deva and Asur, Devasur Sangram, three avatars take place. One is Mohini avatar, another is the Kurma avatar, the third is Dhanvantri avatar. Also, we should remember that Lakshmi ji also appears from the 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 Amrit, the Samudra Manthan, and the story of Lord Shiva getting infatuated with Mohini is equally fascinating. And we should conclude that it is not that the Lord needs to get, attracted or infatuated. It is a leela, it is an act. It is incorporated in the story as a reminder that the Maya is so powerful that it can disturb even the greatest personalities. So, for us Jivas, how difficult it is to deal with Maya. So, it is a word of caution to the ordinary Jivas. So, that is the main theme. Let us complete the takeaways and then we can open up the session for discussion. So, takeaway is a very beautiful, Gopi Geet, which comes in the 10th canto. Bhagwat has 345 chapters distributed in 12 cantos. Out of these 345 chapters, the 10th canto, which has 90 chapters, is considered the heart of Bhagwat Mahapuran. And in the heart of Bhagwat Mahapuran, there are 5 chapters which are called Ras Panchadhyay. They are the jewel on the crown. So the background is that Sri Krishna on the Sharad Purnima night, he plays the flute, and that flute sound is received by those who were eligible. And the gopis who heard the sound of the flute, they couldn't control themselves and they rushed to their spot. Those gopis who could go without much troubles, they have already gone. And those gopis who had their family members in the house, Gopi was lying down next to her husband. The husband is holding her. How to go? So they left the body and they went in their subtle body. And that is the story. That was the intense love of gopis for Shri Krishna. We also learned that there are three types of devotees in the Madhurya Bhav, which is Samartha Rati, Sadharani Rati, and Samanjasa Rati. So among the three, all are glorious because they are all only wanting the Lord. They are not attached to the material opulences. But still there is a category. So on category 3 is a devotee like Kubja, who only wants to love her beloved Sri Krishna, but then she also has desire for her own happiness. So they are considered the Sadharani Rati, the lowest among the highest. The second category is Samanjasa Rati, who are only wanting the Lord, but they also want a bit of their happiness also, or you can say 50-50. So they want their happiness, they want Lord's happiness also. So they are called Samanjasa Rati. And then there is Samartha Rati, who are the highest class of gopis. They don't have any desire for their own selfish aggrandizement. They only want the Lord's happiness. And the story that is very popular is about Lord pretending that he has a headache, and Naradji comes and big drama is ongoing, and the Lord says, only if I can receive the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee and I can put it in the water and then I can drink that concoction, I will be cured. Otherwise, I cannot be cured. This headache is splitting, it is excruciating, it is really killing me. This was a very famous prank of Sri Krishna, and Naradji got involved into it, and Naradji went to the wives first, Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jamvanti, Lakshmana, etc., Kalindi, but they refused to give the dust. How can I give dust for my own husband from my feet? This is completely a transgression. We don't want to do that. And then, finally, uh, the dust has to come from the Braj, where Gopi said, how many kgs and tons of dust you want, you please take it. And we don't care whether we go to hell or whatever happens to us. So these are the three classes of gopis. And so when the Ras Maharas took place, Sri Krishna danced with each gopi, and each gopi was thinking, Sri Krishna is dancing only with me. This kind of a situation was created. This is a very advanced topic which is not, available to all. Only eligible souls can afford to hear this story, and that also from a bona fide speaker. So in the Maharas, Krishna is with each gopi, and each gopi is thinking that Krishna is only with me. So they developed some pride, and then Sri Krishna left. Then gopis were now wondering where Sri Krishna has left. They started following the footsteps. Then they saw two footsteps, and they could imagine that the second footsteps belong to Radharani. But after some time, they found Radharani is lying down. She has fainted, and then there is no trace of Sri Krishna. And then they found out that Radharani had said that, I'm very tired, my legs are aching. Then Krishna said, okay, you sit on my shoulder and I'll take you. While she was riding his shoulder, Sri Krishna had vanished. This was a Leela which is described in the Ras Panchadhyay. And when there was no way out and the gopis are so desolate and they are missing Sri Krishna so much, they sing this Gopi Git, which is very, very beautiful. It is intoxicating. It is composed on the Chand Manjari, Kanak Manjari Chand, which itself means that the melody is intoxicating. So let us read this and the meaning. So it is Jayati te dikam janmana vrajah Shayat indira shaswadatrahi Daita dresyatam dikchutavaka Tvayidritasvash Tvam vichinvate Radhe Krishna Radhe Krishna Radhe Krishna Radhe 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 Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Radhe. This is the first line of the Gopi Geet. There are 19 sets of verses. So the first verse says, the gopis said, "O beloved Shri Krishna, your birth in the land of Vraj has made it exceedingly glorious, and thus Indira, the goddess of fortune, always resides here. It is only for your sake that we, your devoted servants, maintain our lives. We have been searching everywhere for you, so please show yourself to us." So this is the most ultimate cry of the soul. Oh, the Lord, now I cannot live without you. But then I have given everything to you. I don't have the right to take my own life because my life also belongs to you. But we have to live, so we are living only for you. This is the sentiment of the gopis in the first sentence, first verse, where the gopis says, "By your presence on Vrindavan in the Braj, the land has become so glorious that even Lakshmi ji has left her abode in Vakunt and she has come over and she is residing in Vrindavan." This is the sentiment in the first verse. The second verse which we have chosen. Sharadudashaye sadhu jatas sarasi jodara shri musadrisha सूरत नाथ ते शुल्क दासिका वरदने घ्नतो नेह किं वदः राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे राधे. The meaning of the second shlok, second verse is, O Lord of love, in beauty your glance excels the whole of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond. O bestower of benedictions, you are killing the maidservants who have given themselves to you freely without any price. Isn't this murder? Now the gopis are playing a very, severe accusation, which is an expression of love. Oh Shri Krishna, we are all dying. So you are the killer. It's like a murder. How you are murdering us? Your beauty is so enchanting that it cannot be described. It is like the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond, and that's how your glance is piercing our heart. And they address Sri Krishna as the Lord of love. So they are saying that you are acting like a murderer, O Sri Krishna. You are killing us. That's the sentiment. Let's see if there is the third verse. Yes, there is the third verse. विषजलापयाद् व्यालराक्षसा वर्षमारुतात् वैद्युतानलात् वृषमयात्मजात् विश्वतो भया ऋषभते वयं रक्षितामुः. राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे राधे. O greatest of personalities, you have repeatedly saved us from all kinds of danger, from poison water, from the terrible man-eater Aghasur, from the great rains, from the wind demon, from the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, from the bull demon, and from the son of Mayadanav. So there were so many attacks because first of all, Kans wanted to kill Sri Krishna because of the prediction that the seventh child of Devaki will be, the eighth child of Devaki will be your killer. So he wants to kill Sri Krishna and he does all kinds of pranks. Agasur is one of his friends who attacks Sri Krishna, then Bakasur, and then Kuvadalapiya, then the Trinavrita, so many demons, they were requisitioned to kill Sri Krishna, and in the process they were attacking the Brajvasi also. And how all the Brajvasis have been saved by Sri Krishna is the expression in this verse. So this is the beauty of Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, that it is the ripened fruit which has grown in the tree of Kalpavriksh. And in the tree of Kalpavriksh, the fruits are such, there is no fiber, there is no seed, and then there is no skin. Normally, even if you get the best mango, there will be a chilka, the skin, there will be a gutli, the kernel, the seed, and there will be some fiber in the pulp. But the Bhagavad Mahapuran is presented to the jiva as a fruit which has no fiber, no seed, and no skin. Pibat Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. This is the expression we learned in the very first canto, in the first section. So Bhagavad is indescribable, as Sri Maharaji said, where the philosophy of the Holy Bible stops, the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita begins, and where the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita ends, Srimad Bhagavatam begins. Meaning, Bhagavad Gita talks about different topics. Sankhya Yog, Buddhi Yog, Karma Yog, Jnana Yog, Dhyana Yog, etc., etc. Because Sri Krishna comes to the final conclusion that Bhakti Marg is the most exalted. But to come to that point, he describes different methods. But Bhagavad Mahapuran begins with the theme, that these material Maya, that contamination is the Katav, and Bhagavad is Katav Rahit, without that contamination. So much we can keep discussing about the Bhakti Rush, but why don't we hear from you all? And then we can have some discussions and
Yeah. Thank you so much,
learn
Bhaiya,
some more. Radhe.
for finding out time, even though you are in sadhana. So, and explaining us about the verses from the Ras Panchadaya. So, with that, we can open up for any questions or anything related to today's session or their spiritual journey. Like, anybody wants to share something, ask something, you can raise your hand and unmute yourself. Shri, do you have any questions?
No, I was very interested in the story previous to the Ras Panchadhyay. And yeah, I wasn't aware that with Mohini Avatar, Shivji also got enticed with the Mohini Avatar and he started to chase Sri Krishna. That was a really, then it just points to the area that no matter where you might have reached with your sadhana, with your spirituality, etc., you can easily fall prey. And that's where we have to be very extremely careful. If it could happen with Lord Shiv, then who are we as mortals? But haven't got to think in that direction. We just have to follow what Maharaji keeps telling us each day, every day. Thank you, Bhaiya. Any more on this? Would you be able to say, please?
I mean, that's the point. So until God realization, we are all subjected to the defects of Maya. The four defects which are prevalent in every one of us are called, avidya, asmita, and, karna pato, and the fourth one, you know. So these defects affect all of us. Like we always hide our defects, and we don't want to talk about our weaknesses, our defects. We know that we suffer from it, but even if we go to the guru, we don't have guts to admit it. This is what happens to me. And Vipralipsa Karna Pato, and Avidya and Ragadvesh. If I remember, these are the 4 defects every one of us suffers. Until Maya is predominant on us, we can never get rid of these 4. So, like I said, we want to hide our defects. That is one defect. And then the second one is, even though we don't have the command on the knowledge, we want to present as if we know everything. So this is Karna, Pato, and Vipralipsa. And Rag Dves, we all know that attachment or hatred. And Avidya, the lack of the ignorance that all of us have. So we cannot really wish it away. It is the reality. So the only answer is that Hari and Guru say, do the sadhana. Hari Guru Bhajanit Govinda Radhe. So we only can do sadhana and keep improving, and also we should not get disappointed when there is a setback. So this is all I can add. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Radhe Radhe.
Anybody else has any question?
So not only question, any feedback, any
feedback
suggestion, any right. So
Atit Bhaiya.
दीदी राधे
Radhe Radhe Bhaiya.
दीदी राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe.
Okay, so Smita Didi, I see you have joined.
राधे राधे भैया।
राधे राधे।
एक और बहुत ही सुंदर सेशन था भैया, बिल्कुल मन मुग्ध हो गया, आनंद से भर गया। भगवान का मोहिनी अवतार और उनकी सारी लीलाओं का जब आपने जिक्र किया तो एक ऐसा समा बंधा जैसे एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत स्त्री के पीछे कोई पुरुष उसके पीछे जा रहा है और उसने अपना सारा विवेक सब कुछ वो भूल गया है उसके खूबसूरती और माधुर्य पे, और उससे जुड़ी जो भी आपने प्रेरणादायक पूरी कहानी सुनाई वो बहुत ही विशद वर्णन और वैभव से भरा हुआ था और हम सब बिल्कुल मंत्रमुग्ध होकर उसको सुनते रहे। इस तरह की भगवान के इस लीला की कहानी हमने आज तक नहीं सुनी थी और आपने अपने सुंदर वक्तव्यों से उसको और भी उसमें 4 चांद लगा दिए। बहुत ही सुंदर, बहुत ही प्यारा, आनंद और उमंग से भरा हुआ था ये सेशन। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद भैया। राधे राधे।
गोपी गीत का भी हमने थोड़ा एडवांस में जिक्र कर दिया
जी,
तो वो भी मतलब मंत्र मुग्ध करने वाला है। आने वाले
जी।
समय में इट विल बी वेरी मच एन्चेंटिंग। जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर ब्यूटीफुल वर्ड्स। जी,
और सबसे बड़ी चीज है भैया, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं भागवत की जो लोक गीतों में और कहानियों में इधर उधर से हम सुनते हैं और हम या हमारे जैसे और भी लोग जो चीजें जानते हैं उन पर तो मूवीज भी बनी हैं, फिल्में भी बनी हैं और ये हर जनमानस तक ये पहुंचता रहा है, चाहे भारतवर्ष में या पूरे विश्व में। लेकिन बहुत सारी अनछुई कहानियां भी हैं भगवान से जुड़ी ही, भागवत से जुड़ी ही, जो आप जैसे लोग जिनको की पूरी जानकारी है पूरे तौर पे सचरित्र उसको हमारे मन मस्तिष्क में बिठा देते हैं। तो ये ज्ञान का जब प्रचार प्रसार होगा और लोग जानेंगे, भागवत को पूरी तरह जानेंगे, तो उसके ऐसे अनछुए पहलुओं को भी जान पाएंगे जैसे मैं आज के इस स्टेज में भी ये मोहिनी अवतार वाली स्टोरी इतनी सुंदर मैंने कभी नहीं सुनी थी। तो बहुत बेहद अच्छा था, ज्ञानवर्धक था। और हमारी कोशिश यही है कि हम आपसे अंत तक जुड़े रहें और भागवत की पूरी कहानी को खूब ध्यान से सुनते हैं। थैंक यू भैया। राधे
बहुत
राधे।
बढ़िया कहा आपने, and you are gifted with the words, the ability to articulate your points in such a magical and sweet way that it is a delight to hear. But just to share, last couple of days we are here and we are meeting all those people who come for our online sessions, and to see them in person is such a magical experience. And when you talk about Bhagavad Mahapuran and you tell them this is what we are learning, because some of them are not very regular. So when you describe the Bhumandal, that how infinitely large it is, and our earth on which we inhabit is such a small planet, and Bhagavad said no, the earth is not moving, earth is stationary, neither it is rotating nor it is moving in the circular direction. It is the sun which is moving on the top, it is the moon which is moving on the top, and that is why we have the solar system and the lunar system. And that sounds so logical and so beautiful, and what we learn from our childhood is completely negated by Bhagavad Mahapuran. So they get very much fascinated. Oh, is it written in Bhagavad? Then when you talk about the journey of the fetus, that how with the union of the mother and father, in the first instance, it leads to just a bubble, and after that it leads to an object which is the size of a mutter, the pod, the pea, and how in the 1 month the mass forms in a bigger shape, and how after a couple of months the nose and the ears etc emerge, and the hands and the legs etc. The way the journey is described, it is more fascinating, much more fascinating than reading a medical book, where the same process is described in the modern times, when all these top experts, they discovered the various bones and the skeletal etc. But look at Bhagavad Mahapuran 5,000 years back, where the Vyas had just reformatted it. The knowledge was already there, and Kapil Muni is describing the journey of the fetus to his mother Debhuti. When I described this to some of the attendees, they were fascinated. They were asking, is it written in Bhagavad? And I'm telling them, that is what I'm telling you, it is written in Bhagavad, that this medical term blastula, the shape of the fetus in 10 days, is described so magically. So absolutely, Bhagavad Mahapuran is a game changer. Thank you.
Thank you so much for explaining that. I think if anybody has any suggestion or question, you can still, we have still 6 minutes left. You can ask now. If not, probably we can conclude.
So if no further interactions, then बोलिए श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय,
जय
श्रीमद युगल सरकार की
सरकार की
जय,
जय।
जय
जय जय श्री राधे, जय
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 श्री
श्री
राधे,
राधे।
राधे
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे। राधे
जय
राधे।
जय
Radhe, Radhe.
राधे राधे।